It's the Game Out Loud podcast coming to you with Rob, Jordan, and Dylan, and sometimes Colin too. It's everything about games you want to know. Thanks for listening to the show. It's the Game Out Loud podcast. Yeah, the Game Out Loud podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 178th episode of the Game Out Loud podcast, your weekly podcast for all things gaming. I'm your host for the week, Rob Peterson, and joining me, as always, is my good buddy, that Asian guy Dylan himself, Dylan Smith.
Yes, what's going on, good buddy?
We are, if you haven't noticed, live on YouTube. That's kind of weird.
I don't think it's weird at all. I'm terribly excited about it. Hello, world.
Yeah, do you look great with your XSplit broadcaster face there?
Yes, it's it's been a long surgery, and I'm kind of trying to come back from it, but I figured it's just my jaw muscles moving. I'll try not to make too many facial expressions, but I think it's a good portrait of myself, don't you?
I think so, yeah. It really captures you in the moment.
Oh, you know, I was expecting something like that to come from Jordan. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and speaking of Jordan, he is also joining us somewhere here. There's a very nude dog blocking the view, though.
I was gonna say, aren't all dogs nude?
I guess so. I guess it would be weird. It would be weirder if it was a clothed dog.
He wears clothes sometimes. When he's
That's
really
just
cold.
adorable.
Yeah, he's a good pup. This is Artemis, everybody, aren't you? Yeah. Named for Artemis and Truri from the Dris Duwarden series by R.A. Salvatore.
All right. Well, Jordan, if you may have noticed, is the only one on webcam this week. We kind of threw this together at the last minute, but I think we're going to start doing these broadcasts. So expect everyone to have webcams coming next week, and also expect us to have all the musical cues and everything set up to be working for the broadcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube, sorry for the presentation this week. We're just kind of experimenting. So bear with us a little bit. But
I mean, everybody experiments amongst friends, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
you know, whatever.
I think so. I mean, no one's gonna hold it against me unless I ask them to, right?
I was
Right,
gonna say
yeah.
the same thing. You know what I mean? It's the people you're most comfortable with, right?
Yeah, I could hold it against you. I could hold it for you. Whatever.
Yeah.
Works for me. Whichever one.
So anyway,
Together.
woohoo! Boy, do we want to start with the hard-hitting one? Do we want to go to Dylan first and get the impressions on The Division? Can you talk about it?
I
There's no-
can.
Okay.
I mean,
so-
I don't know of any. I mean, I know a bunch of people have been streaming their capture, so
Yeah, I didn't think there was an NDA for this, but I just wanted to make sure.
there wasn't one that I was aware of. I've never gotten an NDA though, so I don't know what it would look like.
You'd know.
Or it would be,
Yeah.
hey!
Yeah, they're not hiding that in the fine print. It's like, hey, motherfucker. Do
Okay,
not
yeah,
talk
no,
about
then
it.
there was no NDA.
You didn't see, there were no pop-ups that said, hey, motherfucker on them?
No, there were a couple pop-ups, but they did not contain those words. No,
Okay, good. Yeah, then you should be safe. Well,
they were
we'll
mostly
see-
tooltips.
Okay. Good. I think we should save you for last then, because that is a topic of great interest, and we're going to want to spend some time on it. So before we jump over to you, Jordan, what have you been playing this week?
So I didn't get into the Division beta, unfortunately,
Sir.
which makes me sad. But hey, you win some, you lose some. In this case, I think I won some because of how Dylan sent me pictures of what his experience was like. Looked like a laser light show from the 80s, which that's never fun. But I really didn't play much this week. Unfortunately, I've been really, really busy. But I did put a whole bunch of time into a mindless game called Rogue Legacy. It's been out for a while. I know Dylan's played it. Have you played it, Rob?
I have just a little bit. I own it. Colin was like way, way into that game and highly recommended it. And I enjoyed what I played, but it's hard for me to justify the time sink that is your average indie roguelike these days.
Yeah, I do it before I'm going to bed. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. What do I want to do? Oh, I guess I'll just play some Rogue Legacy. And I actually deleted it a while ago because I couldn't get anywhere. I felt like I was just dying all the time. I was terrible at it. And then I had I plugged my controller in, and it works way better, of course, than with the mouse and keyboard. But I've actually been progressing. I've unlocked a whole bunch of stuff I never even saw before. I didn't even know you had extra character types other than the ones you start with, like the knave, the wizard, and the mage and the warrior. And you can actually switch those out and get like archmages and paladins and barbarian warriors and shinobi and miners and stuff like that. I like the miners. Miners are good.
Yeah, Jordan's into miners. We already knew that, though.
Well, hey, we here in Rolla, Missouri, the S&T is the school of miners. Just saying.
The ones with the dome hats on, right? Those are the
the dome hats, yeah.
That carry pickaxes and die of black lung.
Yes, pneumonoidal microscopic silica volcanoconiosis.
Yes.
I think the mascot is a miner, but he has a cowboy hat and a pickaxe, not a light hat. I don't know what they call those. You know those hard hats with the light on them.
The dome hats, the dome head light helmet.
A miner hat.
Yeah, well, no, it's not a minor
Yes!
thing. It's a major thing. Like we can't just discredit it like that.
I don't know.
I'm not trying to diminish anyone's occupation here.
Oh my God.
Well, anything else been taking up your time this week, Jordan?
Played some more Banjo Nuts and Bolts. That's fun, but other than that, it's been a really busy week, so I haven't had much time to actually play a lot of the video games. But I loved Rogue Legacy. I found that really kind of scratched an itch for me. I didn't expect it to. So, random install and hours of fun going. Hey, by the way, look, I'm using one of these things now. This is weird. You ever use one of these? I think I'm gonna take it back.
The owner of my company uses those, and he swears by it.
I missed it. I was looking at my desktop. What is it? I still cannot see.
It's a trackball.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty early 2000s.
Yeah, I wanted to try it and see how I liked it. Turns out I don't like it. That's why I got this. This is a good mouse. Yeah.
That is the same mouse I have, I believe, or similar.
You have the 700S?
I have the 700S.
Yeah, I know Dylan does.
Mine's
awesome mouse.
Yeah, I guess mine is different. Mine's the Luminata Pro.
Ooh.
We bought my wife's mouse based on what you bought that one time, right?
Yes, I believe so.
She loves that thing. I also got her a Razer Firefly, which is kind of cool because it's a mouse pad, but it's hard plastic, and the edge has like an LED ribbon, so you can light it up in whatever color you want.
Sweet.
Yeah. It was a good year for my wife for Christmas stuff.
That's sweet that she has a computer.
Yeah, nice little rig too, that she never uses.
At least she has the option.
Exactly, right? That's the important thing. Better to have it and not need it than need it not have it.
Like a gun or a Band-Aid.
Or a band gun.
Or
only kills
band
members.
Gun-Aid.
A gun-aid?
Yeah, like, a laser sight or stuff like that.
Yes, scopes. Like stuff you unlock in Battlefield, gun aids.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, who doesn't want a 3x scope on a 1911?
Yeah, red dot sight, flare it out. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, bro.
Well, God, I need to change my lighting. We're gonna have to figure this stuff out because it looks like I can almost watch myself in my glasses.
We'll figure it out. You look fine. You look beautiful.
Can I get myself some spotlighting? Is that better?
Whoa. Now you look really pasty.
It's Jordan, the friendly ghost.
I know. It's really weird looking, dude. It only accentuates my beard and my eyebrows. So.
Yeah, that's not a face I want to see looking in through my window late at night.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind Jordan looking at me through the window late at night.
Whoa.
Giving you some eyebrow action. Hey, babe.
Yeah. I'm all about that eyebrow. All about that brow. About that brow. From Jordan.
You get notes from Jordan that are like, I saw you eating your Chinese food last night, Dylan.
And then the best part is he didn't eat it until tomorrow.
Whoa.
Dun dun dun!
Yeah, right? Right?
M. Night Shyamalan's got nothing on this.
From Horror Master Jordan Rusnak.
This dog so wants to leave, but my office is a wreck, and he doesn't want to jump. Oh, there he goes. He doesn't want to jump down onto the the boxes I have right here. So he's like,
Yeah, my dog's whining in the background. You might hear because it is pitch black in here. She's not happy with me. So when
Your
we
dog's
do
afraid of the dark?
we'll get up and change that. She doesn't like it being dark when it's not supposed to be. She's a dog of routine. It's usually light in here this time of night.
I don't have any edibles.
Yeah, you're about to have a human pet, though.
I am.
Who has a ferret? Those things
Yes.
stink, dude.
Oh,
He's
the
been
ferret's coming
decented.
too?
Yeah. When he's on the podcast, no ferret. Like, ferret needs to go in a cage.
No, yeah, we actually have a cage. There is a cage. So.
Okay. Not a free roaming ferret? Not a free range ferret? In which
Does it say free range ferret?
Yeah. If you ever get hungry and you're snowed in, well, look at that. You've got a snack.
I don't know. I think that ferret. There is a restaurant out here called Bandana, or Randy's Roadkill Barbecue.
Yes.
And the fact that the words roadkill are in the name of the restaurant is an immediate no-go for me.
Yeah, even if it was good, that's hard to do.
I don't care. The quality of the food doesn't matter. The immediate disqualifying, characteristic is the fact that there is the word roadkill in it. Now, I'm sure that I'm alienating some of our listenership and saying, y'all can eat that squirrel raccoon stew crap, that's fine. Me personally, I like food like cow and buffalo and potatoes and crap like that. Like normal human being food, lol. Not something that I can run over and then take to the restaurant and get half off.
Wait, because you only get half there. Like the rest of it's stuck to a tire on an 18-wheeler.
Right.
Well, unless I hit it, then I can just bring the whole thing. See what I'm saying?
True. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's fresh kill. You cook it enough, and maybe you won't get parasites.
You see, that's putting the cooking in the hands of somebody that I don't know, and I'm not sure I'm okay with that. But again, it's squirrel, so
I hear it's really gamey and stringy.
that's what I hear too. I'm not. It doesn't sound very appetizing. I just have a nice 32-ounce steak, thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for squirrel. Like that's just gutter trash.
I would,
Awesome,
but
though.
only if I could eat it with like a nice side
Chianti?
of nuts, just for
I was
the.
gonna say Chianti and fava beans.
Yes,
Little Hannibal Lecter on that motherfucker.
that's
But
right.
then that would make you a squirrel, wouldn't it?
It would, which
Ooh!
be okay with. There's some advantages to being a squirrel. You can really
Just the-
climb trees really
The
well.
images of what this would look like, because I mean, if you're doing this, you're not in your right mind. So I just imagine you in like dirty ass, tidy whities crouched in a corner, eating pieces of squirrel, just like.
It's a lovely fantasy. I'm gonna jump over to what I've been playing and get it out of the way. I know everyone hates me and is sick of me talking about VR, but I'm gonna.
Okay,
talk
that's
about
great. Moving on.
I'll be brief, and then we can get to the division. I played some more demos this week. I demoed the Oculus for a family, for my boss's family, and they were quite blown away. So in preparation for that, I found some new stuff. Rollin' Christmas VR. It's like it's a comedy Christmas themed puppet show that you like sit in a tiny little theater, like your normal size. The theater's tiny, and watch this Christmas show kind of take place. So that was really good. I did a really awesome roller coaster called Burson Sensorium.
Now,
That takes place in a fridge, a refrigerator.
have you debated on going to like some custom machinist and having them build you like a chair for your rig, so like you're on that roller coaster and it's just oh, headphones.
Whoa, that would be awesome. But as someone pointed out to me the other day, if you're on a motion chair, that's going to fuck with the accelerometers in your headset.
Oh, good point.
I don't know what the effect of that would actually be. If maybe it's not that big a
Gratuitous
deal.
amounts of vomit.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it might shake it all over and send your head, like your vision, flinging around. So I'm not sure.
Not
That would definitely be awesome. What I really want that for is like a racing sim or a flight sim or what have you.
That would be neat.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I also played a game, finally, not just a demo, but a short game called World Access VR. This is a third-person game where you see your little guy, and it's not traditional third-person fixed-view camera. It's a free-floating camera. So he is, like, you see from your view, but you're looking down at what appears to be like a 10-foot or like a, well, it's shorter than you. It's like a 4-foot tall model, and it's a platformer, and you run around it, and then you walk around your room as he works his way through it, just within a space of a couple feet, so that you can keep him in your view range. So it's super immersive and really awesome. It's got really good graphics, and it's just, it feels like this is going to be a thing, this style of game. And it's another cool thing about it is it's the type of game that could only exist in VR. You could not have a game from this vantage point that would work in a traditional video game setting. You need to be able to lean in, stand on your tiptoes, lean down, crouch, so that you can get all the angles on this guy. So huge fan of that. And another one I really liked is called Stacks, I believe. And it's just a simple block building game where you're in VR, you have your little table in front of you, and with the 360 controller, you look where you want to point and press A, and it puts a block on this table. And then that's what's represented in your game world as a huge block. So you're building these giant structures in the game world, and then you can turn the physics on, and suddenly they'll all fall through the air and float and bounce, and it just gets wild. And that's another one where it's like, it's hard to explain why it's so cool, but when you're like leaning in, looking at this table, and you've built a stack of blocks that's really high, and you have to lean underneath and look down up at the block so that you can add the next piece to it. If that makes sense, it's a weird thing that just, when you actually experience it in VR, is so cool because it completely sells that you're there.
That sounds like it'd be cool.
And my wife was laughing at me. She's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because when you see someone playing it, I was like crawling around on the ground and looking up, and then standing up and moving all around this virtual table, trying to arrange my blocks the way I wanted them. So, really, really awesome. And beyond that, just a couple other little piddly things I don't need to talk about. And of course, I'm still playing Ark Survival Evolved, and finally getting good at that. I haven't died in about 15 levels now, and got to the point where we've trained some dinosaurs that we're riding around, built some pens, really have a good amount of resources stacked up. So once you get over the initial hump of that game and get yourself a bed so that you can respawn to it, and get yourself some stores of items so that you're not constantly just trying to get enough berries to stay alive, really, really, really fun. So one of these days I'll talk you guys into playing some of that on the PC, and I can show you how it's actually done now, because I finally know.
You know, we could play Duck Game. That's a pretty similar game to Ark.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Huh, Dylan?
What is up with that? I finally find a game that I want to play with you guys. Like, it's a fun, like different almost every time game, and you don't want to play with me. I don't understand.
No, it's not different every time, and it's pretty much the same. You want to play every day.
Yeah, because it's good.
That's like the neighborhood kid coming over and asking if you want to play Legos every day.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? I did that all the time.
Which is really weird, Dylan, that the neighborhood kid still wants to do that with you.
Yeah, you should probably say no to that.
Wait, so I can actually say no?
Well, no means no.
Yeah.
So then I don't have to play Legos anymore?
No.
Nope. You're a grown ass man. You can do whatever you want.
Outstanding.
Enjoy, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to finally jump over to The Division. So, unless you've got something else you want to talk about too, Dylan.
I do. I have several things that I can talk about, actually, so we don't have to dwell on The Division. That's not going to be my only thing that I talk about.
Okay.
So we're going to divide this up?
Wah, wah.
Let's hear the other stuff first.
Okay. Well, the only other thing is I downloaded a free MMO.
Momo.
Playing with my friends Dave and John. Hi, Dave.
No.
Hi, John.
Oh, no. This is not that game, is it?
What game?
Originally was a really good...
Yeah, no, it's that game.
Oh, so sad. We'll have to get you to play the original version of that game, then you'll hate that game.
Okay, so I've been playing Neverwinter.
All right.
I like Neverwinter.
Yeah, tell me about it. I like the old Neverwinter Nights game, so I could be talked into the MMO.
Well, it's WoW. It's hard to.
It's WoW. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of, if you guys remember me talking about another game that I was playing a lot, it's called Vindictus.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Vindictus, but more open world. It's not Vindictus felt very what's the word I'm looking for? Just closed off, and there wasn't really a whole lot of like traveling done. I mean, you just went from one preloaded area to another, whereas here you literally like walk everywhere. It's really fun. I mean, obviously there are portals to go to separate places, but all in all, it does feel a lot more like an MMO. Um, there's a lot of abilities, and a lot of people play, and it's a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with it, and it does have that trifecta, the holy trinity of MMOs. So it's nice to have a healer because some of this stuff gets crazy intense later. There's several different trees.
Crazy sex?
What?
Crazy intense. Sex. Intense. The joke
Crazy
is gone.
sex in the woods. Crazy sex in the woods.
Yeah, intense.
Yes. So it goes from one area to another, and they do have, like I said, they do have that holy trinity. But it's a lot of fun, and there are several different, for each class there are several different what they call paragons, which is pretty much just like a specialization for each class. Then there's a bunch of different races too, so obviously each race has its own benefits to stats and whatnot.
So you have foot races, motorbike races, car races, stuff like that?
Depends on which race you want to do, though, but yes.
Pun
No,
Master Jordan.
half orc, human, elf, blah blah blah, dragonborn, da 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 da.
Yes, they're D&D kin.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it's a video game from D&D is pretty much what this is, and so it's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's originally how that started. Neverwinter Nights. I don't know if this is the original use of it, but was a game back when I was like 12 or 13 where
You're a little older than that. It was like 02, I think.
was that late? Okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah, you played the single player as an isometric, like almost three-dimensional Baldur's Gate game, built in a 3.5 rule set.
Yeah, 3.0, I think, actually.
Was it 3.0?
Not that it matters. Yeah,
It's
D20.
3. Yeah,
Yeah.
D20 system. No Thaco, and there's still a monk. But it was really cool because you could play that, but then you could also create your own tool set
Mhm.
and build these campaigns where you would have your friends connect multiplayer wise, and you would run them through this campaign, and you can control everything. Like you could just randomly spawn stuff. You were literally a god in that world playing as a DM. So you could do these really cool, intricate things, and like the stuff that I would do on pen and paper, I could then do in the game, and it was really, really cool. I had some friends that would build these huge campaigns, and they're like 20, 30-hour long campaigns. And that's all they did. Like when they got home from school, they did their homework, and then they went and built these really complex, really well done modules for Neverwinter Nights. And that's what I was saying, that maybe we should get you into that, or Neverwinter Nights 2, since that's a good one as well. But maybe we should get you into that and see how you like that. And maybe that's one way we could do some role playing together.
I would be super down, and I've never actually played Neverwinter Nights 2. The first one, the main campaign was meh, but yeah, the modules were really where it was at, and also Hordes of the Underdark was a super kick-ass expansion.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I found out kind of recently, actually, that was made by Paul Neurath, who is at Otherside now, and made, like, he's an old Looking Glass guy, made like Ultima Underworld and System Shock and all that stuff, so makes sense why that one was way better than the primary campaign.
Gotcha. Yeah, Tales from the Underdark was fantastic. Plus, I'm a big Drizzt Do'Urden fan. That's how I got into the Forgotten Realms book sets. So that was right up my alley. Like Menzo Berenzin and what are the Dark Elves called?
Yeah.
Drow.
Yeah.
As I said it like 5 times and just forgot right there. Yep. I love Dark Elves. Evil, crazy son of a bitches they are.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, what else you been playing?
Well, I reinstalled City Skylines. Just stemming from the conversation, the game of the year conversation that we had, kind of reminded me of the game, and so I reinstalled it, and they have like a day-night cycle now. It's a lot more. I mean, I haven't played it a lot since the reinstall. I played it for maybe an hour, maybe, but the day-night cycle is really cool, and just kind of like getting back into all of it. Like, oh yeah, I forgot you could do this. This is awesome. And I've been reading up on some stuff about how one of my theories for one of the reasons why my first original city didn't do too well was I think I expanded too quickly. So just because that there are those demands for residential, commercial, and industry and industrial, it doesn't necessarily mean I have to do it right then and there. Like I can kind of purposefully stagnate on whatever, population level I'm at that point in time, and kind of just go with trying to get things situated, figured out, get all the kinks worked out before I move on to the next level, instead of trying to constantly build on one level after another, kind of like a pyramid when there's already cracks in each of the levels that I haven't gone back and fixed.
My road infrastructure was my downfall in that game.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things I've been trying to keep track of. There is a mod that I've been using. It's Traffic Plus Plus, and that kind of helps alleviate some of the traffic issues that a lot of people have been having with the original release. Again, I don't know if they've updated it at all to deal with that specific issue, but I know it's been a thorn in many people's sides. But it does help to alleviate some of the problems that you do experience with the traffic.
Now, I've never played this game. What's the complexity level compared to something like SimCity? Because as a kid, I was a huge SimCity 2000 fan, but I haven't dipped into that genre since that game was new. So, however long.
If you liked SimCity 2, well, I remember SimCity 3000. So, if you liked that, you'll like this.
Okay, so similar.
It's kind of those latter releases of SimCity kind of flopped. I think they didn't take off as much as some people would have hoped, and this is kind of one of those city building games that you've kind of been looking for. That now that SimCity is no longer continued that series, this is kind of the next thing to fall in line, and they've done a pretty good job of it all in all. That city management / build kind of game platform, and it's a lot of fun.
Sweet. Yeah, one of these days I'll check it out. I do need. I'd like to broaden my horizons a little bit and stop playing so many action games and work in some of these more.
I broadened my horizons by getting married. Ha ha!
Oh, I don't get that, but
broadened my horizons.
Oh, Pun Master strikes again.
This chair is not comfortable when you're trying to not look super fat.
Man, that's why when I'm on webcam, I just let it go. Just try not to look at the screen and hope I don't pick my nose.
There we go. How's that? Look better?
Wait, what was that noise? One more time?
Definitely sound better. All right. Well, anything else besides the big one, Dylan?
No, I think that does it.
How do I look, Dylan?
All right. Well, let's do it. Tell us about the Division.
So, if you are a friend of mine on Facebook,
Sadly,
you will have known that I had a very, very interesting beginning experience with this Division beta. I loaded it if it would actually load the game, because in the middle of loading, most of the time it would crash. It crashed a lot. I think it crashed a total of like 12 times in this whole experience before I fixed it.
Thanks, Ubisoft.
Oh no, it's my fault. But I would walk like it loaded in, and before the beginning opening cutscene was over, by the time they got to the city and ready to land, I knew there was something wrong, because all of a sudden in the background of these two characters talking on this helicopter, a huge red sheet appeared in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Like it looked like I don't even know, like just a sheet of crimson that stretched as far as the eye could see at a funny looking angle and cut off the city. And I was just like, wait a minute. Well, maybe it's just the beta. They're still working on some of the higher res graphics. And then I realized my game had loaded in at 4K. So, but that was one of the cool things that I found I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that my game loaded in at 4K without any problems, other than the obvious ones that we've talked. Huh?
You don't have a 4K monitor.
It was displaying it at 4K. That was the resolution on my computer. That's what the settings were at.
Yeah, you can have it scale that way, and actually, it's kind of a good way to do anti-aliasing. It looks really good if you render at 4K and then downscale it to 1080p.
Downscale it to 1080p, yeah, that's what I've heard, and it looked amazing. for what little I could see. The rest of it, like Jordan said earlier, looked like a really, really, really bad 80s laser show. And like every time you even move the camera a millimeter, I mean, it was just random angled sheets of different colors just shooting off into the sky. You couldn't see anything. And as I turned to the right and looked up, and I could finally tell that I was outside because I saw stars. And I was like, okay, so it's nighttime and I'm outside. And then I looked down and everything disappeared and it turned into this whole like crazy jutting sheets of doom that I saw, and I was getting extremely irritated, you know. And then finally a buddy of mine, Dave Calloway, said, dude, the last thing you can really do is just uninstall it and reinstall it. So I did, and that fixed everything. Like, I guess maybe in the middle of some download or something, my computer must have lost power, or somehow in some way, long story short, the download or the install got corrupted. And so I reinstalled, and it worked as smooth as a baby's bottom. There is only one actual loading screen. After that, everything, I mean, I don't remember any other loading screens. Actually, now that I think about it, it was great. Like, no matter where I walked, I didn't have to worry about the loading screen.
Well, that's good.
Huh. Now, so as far as like the multiplayer and everything goes, how does that even work? I haven't been following this game super closely. So like, what manner of game is it? Do you have a reference point?
It's a third-person shooter, like an you're looking over the right shoulder of the character you're playing.
PvP?
Well, so that's the interesting way that they decided to do this. While you're in the regular environment in the city of New York, you are PvE, but there are these things called dark zones. And once you go into the dark zone, and it is a seamless transition, but it's not like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden you're in dark zone. You have to go through these buildings, and it'll tell you in various ways, look, hey, you are in a dark zone now. Like, it's not like, oh, by the way, you're dead because another guy shot you. It's obnoxious. It's not obnoxious, but it's painstakingly obvious that you are now in this PvP area. Now, it isn't strictly PvP. You don't have to go after other players, and that's what gives it that mystique of there are missions to do in the dark zone. However, once you finish these quests, or whatever you want to call them, these missions, you get loot, which is going to be better than anything you can get in the PvE area.
Well,
however, there is the possibility and problematic issue of, before you extract, you have to go to a specific location and you shoot a flare in the air, and you have to survive for 90 seconds while the helicopter arrives. The issue is that once you shoot that flare in the sky, everybody and their grandma knows that you're extracting, and that they can come if they want to. They can come and kill you, and then take whatever awesome stuff you may have just picked up from that mission you just did.
Huh.
And so, you and your team will have to defend yourselves until time runs out. You can attach your equipment to this little line that drops down from the helicopter. It takes the stuff out, then you can fight your way out. Now, another thing that you can do is, and this is where it gets crazy treacherous, as one of the agents in your squad, you can actually just kill the rest of your squad.
I'll just take all the stuff.
Oh, man.
Just take all the stuff. And that is a succinct possibility for you. And that's why I chose not to do that, because I knew that there would be some guy where I would get some awesome weapon or something, and then he'd just shoot me in the back, and then I'd be raging pissed and realize that I have no business being in the dark zone anyway. Maybe it's just because I'm too trusting in a video game, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's like Griefer's Paradise right there.
No, exactly it, and that's why I'm a little concerned about having, people in a squad that I trust. Like, if it was you, me, Jordan, and maybe Dave and John or Chris or someone like that, then yeah, that's fine. I would hope that Jordan wouldn't do it. I don't think he would.
Oh, I'd shoot you in the back in a second.
I figured as much.
Just blow you right away.
Indeed. Because you like attacking from behind, you dirty bastard.
He also likes blowing.
Yeah, you catch it, so that's what matters.
I don't know, if you're blowing... Just saying. Anyway, but so that seems to be a really big pitfall. What little limited amount of time I did spend in the Dark Zone, I did come across a bunch of people and nobody shot each other. It was really cool. But there was a guy that was shooting people and he became marked. And when you're marked, everybody knows where you are, and if you kill them after a while, you get a reward for killing them. So there is a benefit to helping others get that one guy that's griefing everybody.
That's good.
There is a downfall for becoming that guy.
That's awesome, dude. Like, the risk reward on that would be fantastic. I can see myself going off on a late night when I've had too much to drink and going off and just murdering people in that game.
Yeah, and that's where, again, I just don't know how much of a deterrent to griefing it will be. Again, this is only the beta, and it was a very limited experience. That's one of the qualms I have with it, though, is I really wish that they would have given us more to do outside of the Dark Zone. You had one main mission you could do, and you also have to set up your base of operations, which is really cool because there's 3 wings in that, and then each wing has a whole bunch of stuff going on in it. It's not like, okay, this is your medical wing, upgrade it 10 times and you're done. Like, there were 10 separate things that I could upgrade in that medical wing alone, and each one had a specific function. And once I did those upgrades, it wasn't like, yay, good job, now move on to the next. It was, hey, because you did this, now you get these added options for perks that you can equip on your character to use in battle now. So instead of just a regular heartbeat scan, I got a heartbeat scan that also increased damage to enemies that were marked with that pulse that I just did. So it wouldn't just mark them, but it would also increase the damage that it would do to them specifically. And that was just one of the ones that I did unlock. You only got the opportunity to unlock 2 of them in the game. Both were for the medical wing. There's also a security wing and something else, and it escapes my mind at this very moment, of course. But they're a lot of fun. And
It was limited just for the beta, is what you're saying.
Yes, and you can tell that it was just for that because it said, not available in the beta. You could see that they existed, and you can see that they were going to be in the game as a whole, but it was still sadly like grayed out, and then it just said not available in beta, and so you're just kind of like, well, that sucks.
Right. But you're super happy with it overall, though. Like your years of hyping this game were not let down.
No, I am. I'm kind of mad at myself for actually playing this now because now I am just like chomping at the bit, like bad. I can totally see myself having an obscene amount of fun with this game.
What?
I am super freaking pumped for it now.
Awesome. Well, we will be reviewing that as well when it comes out. So you've got my interest up, Dylan. So
like and it looks incredible, and there's so much more that I haven't even covered that it would be a lot to cover though.
Right. That's fine, and we're gonna do the in-depth review when it comes out, and we're all gonna get this on the PC, I assume.
Oh yeah.
So
I think I've already answered that one.
Yeah, well, we know you are. So yeah, if we all get it on that, we can all play it together, which sounds like is the way to go. So
yeah, I mean, we have Town, Mr. Hightown, hi Ian. Town I believe, is getting it on PS4, and I'm pretty sure that Lambert is going to as well.
Okay, so you can
Lambert's coming into your house. You can set rules.
I can, but he's also a grown-ass man. As established earlier, he can do whatever the heck he wants.
Even play Legos with the neighbor kid.
Yeah.
Even play Legos with the neighbor's kid. Yeah, there's a lot of different perks and a lot of different upgrades. And for just one wing. And there's 3 of them. So.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about covers it for what we've been playing, so I guess that means that it is time to jump over to Extra Points, the part of the show where we talk about the book, movie, TV show, or other piece of non-video game media that we were into this week. So Jordan, I see you sitting there, moderate dude,
Moderate dude.
goofing around with the streaming toys, talking to your
Come on.
wife.
That stuff's cool. Hey, that muted, right? Like I tried to mute. She walked in and I was like, "Hey, you're on the internet." She's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is live." And she just looks at me and just like walks away.
The death
closes
scowl.
the door. But the best part is that her bra's on the inside of the door, so I'm just like, "No, wife, open the door again." That was all muted, right? I did mute myself.
Yes.
Oh, no,
And
I didn't hear
also,
anything.
Your fancy little depth of field effect kind of blurred out the background, so we didn't see too much
Yeah.
there.
But that's what I was saying.
Ooh.
I think this is a pretty good setup for me. Well, I'll change the thing on the mouth pass, but I think this is something that we could do. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. We'll get those when we all have our webcams on, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Then we can have guests come on, and then they'll have their own symbol. It'll be fantastic. And then
Christopher Guest, come on. How about
yes,
that?
Christopher. What?
Who? What?
What's your extra point?
I need to. I just lost it. Hold on. Turbo something.
Oh, Turbo Kid or Turbo?
Yeah, Turbo Man. Let me double check. I just watched it last night. It is fantastic. Oh, god damn it! I hate you, Netflix. Continue watching.
Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid. Yeah, the most 80s ass 2015 movie ever.
So what is it?
It's a movie that I think is made to look like it was in the 80s or made in the 80s because it's definitely got that feel to it. Everyone's riding bikes, like they're over the top, like apocalyptic view of the world in 1997.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah!
The camp. I mean, it was a good show. Like I enjoyed it quite a bit. I didn't really expect much out of it. Like I watched it expecting it to kind of be like a more of a Kung Fury thing, you know. But it was an actual movie, and it was pretty darn good. Turbo Kid. It's on Netflix. Post-apocalyptic world where acid rain has destroyed the world, and humanity's trying to hold on. And it's pretty funny. Lots of good tropes. You don't see some stuff coming. Like you do see some stuff coming. It's just a really good show. Just a general 80s overly bloody, like what the fuck moments. Like it's. I suggest it. I had a great time watching it. I was actually going to watch it, lay down and watch it to go to bed, and I ended up just staying up and watching the whole thing and then going to bed. So it took me from going to like, oh, I'll put this on for background noise to, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. So that'd be my extra point this week. I highly suggest that one.
Cool. Well, no excuses because that's free on if you have Netflix. So
It's free if you pay for Netflix.
you pay for Netflix, which everyone, let's face it. Dylan, how about yourself, sir?
So I went down memory lane as we are known to do on this podcast, and I watched the following old school TV shows. I watched Exo Squad. I don't know if anybody here knows of that one.
Nope.
Is
Hey,
that the
so I'm getting older.
Commanding
Awesome.
Squad?
What?
XO.
No.
Commanding
So-
Officer.
Right. I got it. There's also a show, another animated cartoon from the 90s. It's called Mighty Max.
Yeah,
Yep, I
I
know
used
that
to
one.
get those
Mighty
little pocket
Max.
toy things.
Yeah, I had those. And
That
then,
was a
you know, like, so
show?
Norman and Virgil the fowl, as he is fondly likes to be referred to as, and Norman
Is
is
he a chicken?
guardian. No, he's a fowl. Thank you very much.
So he just swears a lot?
No, he smells horrible.
Am I
Captain Planet,
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Reboot.
that's a bad cartoon. Oh, Reboot's great though.
Reboot, funny fact,
Yeah.
my first PlayStation game was Reboot.
No kidding.
Yeah, I played as Bob.
Yeah.
Word.
What was his pun? Because you had like dot matrix, you had the game.
It
Like, everything had
fell-
Yeah, what was
Had
the pun? What was
sprites.
Bob?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think every single one is one. I don't think every single.
Wasn't his catchphrase though like "Let's kick some ASCII"?
I don't know. That would have been great if it was though.
That would have
I-
been funny, yeah.
I remember that line from that show because I remember being a kid thinking like, how'd they get away with that? They're more laid back in Canada, I guess. Hey.
Eh?
I don't know, but
Good shows.
I
I used
watched.
to love watching that. Saturday
Heck
morning
yeah, dude.
cartoons.
Every morning, yeah. Well, they were on during the weekday for me, so every morning, the last show I was able to watch was Reboot for a while, and then as the years changed, it went from that to Beast Wars, Transformers Beast Wars.
Oh yeah, I loved Beast Wars.
Yeah. Watched those. I'm trying to find Ronin Warriors. I don't know if any of you watched those at all.
Yeah. Ronin Warriors. It was the Ninja Turtles ripoff, wasn't it? Or no, that was no, that was Warriors of Peace or something.
Parnassus.
I don't know, but I know that Lambert has them, and I remember the last time we hung out, we watched a whole bunch of them.
Yes, I do remember the show.
With fear.
Ronin Warriors is an anime.
Yeah, Ronin Warriors.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Power Rangers or Voltron? Go.
Voltron.
Voltron?
Defender of...
I don't know, okay, to be fair, every dude's first crush was Amy Jo Johnson.
Who's that?
That's true.
The Pink Power Ranger.
And Susie Q. She's also
No,
Susie
I liked the Yellow Ranger better.
You would.
That was a dude.
No, no.
Oh, it was that Asian chick.
In
Yeah,
the suit, though. In Japan, in the suit, all the footage of them fighting, it was a dude.
Really?
All of them, dude.
Well, then I like the Yellow
The
Ranger's
original.
persona.
The original series.
But then I'm gonna start trying to find. I don't know if you guys remember this cartoon. It's called Mutant League.
Yeah, I was asking. That's the one where they're
And a game.
playing games and stuff. Like
They're
sports?
playing. They're athletes. Yeah.
Yeah, if you find that, let me know. I've actually been wanting to watch that since I was a kid.
Yeah. I've been wanting to watch these again for a very long time, and I just can't seem to find them. So, dear listener, not that we should encourage this kind of behavior, but if you do know where we can find any kind of way to watch Mutant League in its entirety, I, for one, would be most grateful. I know,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that Jordan would be too.
Tweet at us at GameOutLoudcast.
Please. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Always a good one.
Dale.
Like, yeah, dude, I went down like memory lane and a half for the last
Yeah.
week, and it's been awesome. And I want to take a quick second to say hi, Paul. That's all I want to say. Hi, Paul.
Any DuckTales?
Yes, there is DuckTales too. I just didn't get, like I said, I've listed a ton of shows already, so I've kind of been like a little overwhelmed. I've also been trying to catch up on Rick and Morty. Love that show. I think
Great
Rick
show.
and Morty is hilarious.
That's Comedy Central, right?
Yes.
No,
I
it's
can't tell you where I'm getting all of these at, though. I don't want to.
It's Adult Swim.
Yeah, you can just stream them on Adult Swim.
Exo Squad, Mighty Max, Captain Planet, Reboot.
Well, no, the Rick and Morty's.
Oh. Okay. I found something else, so, yeah. A mental note, yeah, if you want to go ahead and go to Adult Swim.
Let's all say hi to Mark real quick because he's complaining he's not on the podcast. He's like, I have a
Hi,
microphone,
Mark!
I have a camera. Why can't I come on?
Hi, Mark!
We'll get you on, Mark.
We should just send him a Google invite since we're using Google Hangouts.
What, mess with the recording, though? Is my
Nope.
question mark?
Oh, well,
Skype?
yeah, he won't be on the Skype call, so we can't do that.
We'll
get him on
have
next
here. That's what important.
Yeah, we'll get him on next time. Sweet. Well, I'm going to jump over to myself really quick. I am back on the Star Wars thing, so I'm reading it's actually a young adult novel called Lost Stars by Claudia Gray.
And by young adult, you mean like for teenagers?
It is for teenagers.
Did you ever remember those book drives we used to have at school?
Yep.
Remember those bad Star Wars short novels they had that were like
the Hand of Darth Vader one. Oh,
Yeah.
so fucking bad. Oh my god.
That was so
Yeah.
great.
Atrocious. And like I remember Luke joined some weird like Scientology-esque cult.
Yeah.
It's like it was really, really fucking bad. This book, however, I actually picked it up just because Star Wars fans on the internet have been raving about it and saying, like, don't let the young adult thing scare you away. This book rocks. And they are absolutely right. This is probably the best Star Wars book maybe that I've read. Definitely
Really?
out of the new canon, yeah. It is great. Claudia Gray is really a good writer, and I see why it's young adult. It's not so much the writing style or the depth of it as it is that it's kind of a coming of age story.
Mm-hmm.
But it follows these two kids that grow up together and and join the Empire, and they're best of friends, and then their relationship kind of evolves. I don't want to spoil anything in it, but you get to see him go to the Imperial Academy and learn what that's all about, and they kind of get embroiled in this larger plot, and it goes through the events of the original trilogy, and then I haven't quite finished it yet, but I'm told that it even goes a little bit beyond that, which I guess is why it was part of the Journey to the Force Awakens series. But it is super good. If you're looking for a good Star Wars novel, pick this one up. Forget Aftermath. Aftermath was okay, but this is way better. So really happy with that. And then with that, I guess we're going to go ahead and take a break. So since we're doing this live, we're just all going to mute here for a couple minutes, and then we will be back shortly. So stick around.
Hang out and look cool.
Who the fuck? All right, everyone mute. The break's going to be a little longer than we thought, so we're going to stream some videos for you while we're waiting. Thanks for bearing with us.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's doing. I just grabbed the URL. Here's the URL. Oh, shit. Hi, everybody. We're just trying to figure stuff out. Having a good one. I'll see you later. Bye.
The Game Out Loud podcast. Yeah, the Game Out Loud podcast.
And we're back. So this week we wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up. We'll probably do one of these a year where we just kind of talk about the state of indie games and how they're doing, particularly on the PC, but not necessarily exclusively. So I want to fire this off to you first, Jordan, since you're the one who tends to play the most indie games. What's kind of your thought on just on how they're doing right now?
Well, indies have changed quite a bit even since we started this podcast, right? I was the kind of the outlying voice for indie games on our episodes because I found them interesting. I found the sort of weird, quirky things that individuals made or small teams made to be something that was kind of new and different. And now it's getting like back then there was kind of a clear, distinct line for indie games, right? Like you had indie developers that were clearly indie developers, like one-off guys, small groups, stuff like that. And they had a very distinct look to them. They were not as high quality as far as shaders or three-dimensional work or stuff like that, but they were great games. They had great ideas. They could take risks that major companies couldn't because they didn't have to, account to shareholders and say, hey, this is what's going on here. So they have kind of changed how that works nowadays. I mean, you have major companies buying indie development teams. You've got these companies like when Microsoft puts out an indie game. To me, that's not an indie game, right? Even if that team was an indie team before, if they're being bankrolled by Microsoft, is that truly an indie title anymore?
Yeah, I mean it's almost it's kind of like what happened to indie rock. All the major labels picked it up, and then it just kind of became more of a genre than an actual classification.
Yeah, it's what seems to be happening here. I mean, you still have some indie titles. I mean, Kerbal Space Program, that was an indie title, correct? That was a really, really good one that I still enjoy playing today.
Well, another one you played was Rogue Legacy. You mentioned today.
Yeah, that's a good one. When did that even come out? I don't remember. Oh,
I don't even know.
Library, Rogue Legacy, Steam page. This game came out in 2013. Very beginning of 2013. Oh, never mind. Sorry, June 2013, not Jan 2013. So mid 2013. So we've been doing this for about what, a year at that point. I think when we actually got into the whole debate on indie games. So like right around the time that game came out. So I do enjoy indie titles because of the fact that they take risks because they are their own boss. They don't have to talk to shareholders or talk to Bob down the hall to get that memo set up so that they can do the TPS reports and stay all weekend. They kind of get their stuff done at their own weight, and sometimes it turns out really good. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I like seeing new indie stuff. I like seeing what people come up with. I think it's just harder to tell what's actually indie nowadays. And maybe that destination just goes away. Maybe we all just play video games. Who cares if they're made by a large company or an individual team?
Yeah, well, and I think the end goal either way is that we get better games, which has absolutely been happening. And we all kind of bagged on early access, which still has some problems, I think. But
I still bag on early access. What do you mean bagged? Past tense.
But I think that and Greenlight together have been a huge boon for indie games as well. It's resulted in some really crappy stuff, and we've seen a million survival sims that don't go anywhere, and lots of other games that fail. But there's also tons of great success stories, and finally with Ark Survival Evolved, we even have a true survival sim success story. So
that's still not out yet all the way, is it?
No, but it's actually making huge steps of progress, unlike DayZ, which it seems like. I mean, I know lots of work has been done on that, but it still, to me, feels like a more broken game. Whereas Ark is fun and good right now.
Gotcha.
So Dylan, how about yourself?
Well, I was about to say. I mean, there have been a lot of good ones that have come out over the years. One that I know that you guys, or at least Jordan, played a lot was FTL.
That was a good one.
Papers, Please. That's a good one. Don't Starve. I liked that one.
I hated that game.
Miami Hotline.
Hotline Miami, yeah, good game.
Hotline Miami, whatever. I'm sorry.
Maybe they made a Miami Hotline.
Hotline Miami. Fez. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was a huge phenomenon.
Yeah. Blinding of Isaac.
Binding
on a lot more than I thought it would.
I love when you mispronounce these games, Dylan.
The Binding of Isaac?
You said Blinding of Isaac.
Oh, sorry.
That'd be way more.
The Blinding of Isaac. That's the sequel to Binding. First he is bound and then blinded.
Bound and blinded. Left alone.
Isaac is just having a rough go of things as of late.
Yeah. Every time he goes into his basement, everything just seems different.
Yeah, and then when he disappears, we're going to have the Finding of Isaac.
Yes.
What about Terraria? Was that indie?
I don't know. I think so.
But I mean, there's plenty of them that have done very well. But to contrast that, all you have to do is go on Steam anymore, and you see, like Rob was saying, there's a lot of early access, but there's also just a ton of just other indie games that I wonder how it even qualified to get funded in any way, shape, or form to the point of making it to Steam.
Right.
Why is this here? What are you doing? You are the reason why people are beginning to hate computer games again. Like, don't do that. That had to be an accident because you don't do that. Right. It had to be an accident because you don't do that.
Maybe they're just out to get us, Dylan.
Maybe they are. Maybe they've been out to get us this whole time.
Just because we're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after us. Thank you, Mr. Cobain.
Indeed.
You know, it's cool though. I'm looking at the top sellers on Steam right now, and many of these look to be indie games, or at least in the spirit of indie games. Slime Rancher is number 4 on the top sellers.
Slime Rancher?
Yeah, we've got Darkest Dungeon, we've got Ark Survival Evolved, we've got
How are you sorting this like that?
The Witness, just by top sellers.
Yeah.
I'm not reading in order. I'm just going through the top 10, kind of checking them off. So it is kind of a phenomenon right now. I mean, these aren't games that just exist. They're games that exist and are also selling super, super well.
Right.
Indeed.
And go ahead.
Oh, all I had to say was indeed. Go ahead.
Indeed. And it's interesting. I'm a little like it, as you guys know, it's been a while since I've been on the gaming scene, and so indies are a new concept for me. And so to have them be, doing as well as they are, for the most part, it's kind of cool in a way to see the little guy getting, the chance to spread his wings and show the world what they're about. But at the same time, every single little guy is out there spreading his wings now, and not all of them have any business being here.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But it seems like the filtration system's getting a little better. It used to be that there was almost a year there where I would log onto Steam and look at the store and just immediately sign back out because it was just trash heaps. And I think we did an episode about that called the steaming pile.
Yep, we did.
Which it kind of was at the time. I think some people from Valve actually saw that and didn't like that very much. But
it's good to know Valve listens. Yay.
Not anymore. But it's really gotten a lot better. I mean, they have not given up on the problem. They're constantly iterating on it and refining it, and what they've got now is really cool, I think. The other interesting thing in indie gaming right now, there's actually 2. So we have the console space, particularly the PS4, where
And the
we
Vita.
see
That's an indie heavy title.
that's a very good point. Yeah, I didn't think about the Vita. That's pretty much only indie games at this point. The big publisher support has very much dried up.
Bye-bye.
But the PS4, particularly like the PS Plus games, that's been a great showcase for indie games. The out of nowhere one last year, Rocket League, knocked everyone on their asses.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, in fact, I'd be down to play some more of that sometime if you guys want to.
Me too.
But so we have that.
I piss you guys off when we play that, though.
No. Xbox One is starting to do an early access type thing, which not necessarily a good thing, but it has allowed it allowed Ark Survival Evolved to show up on the platform. And like I said, I've really been enjoying the Xbox version of that game. Not because it's better than the PC version, but because for some reason the PC version doesn't like my hardware and it crashes. And I have yet to have a crash on the Xbox One with it.
We have the same hardware. I wonder what's having the problem.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like a background process I have running or what, but yeah, the game crashes about every 20 minutes. So on the PC. So it's been really cool to be able to actually play that and enjoy it without having to restart all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with where we're at. And then the other thing that's coming up in the future here is the VR space. It's going to be dominated by indie games.
Oh, only. I mean, indie games are going to have to do good for the major developers to feel that they can put the money behind those games so that they can justify it, you know?
Yeah, and first-party games, because we do have first-party published games like Eve Valkyrie. I don't think by any sane definition meets... It could be called an indie game. It's a AAA game in every sense of the word, backed by Facebook money, developed by a major PC developer. But games like that, and then the swath of indie games we're getting, like Dread Halls is a really interesting looking one that hopefully is going to be ready for launch. An indie horror game for the Oculus, and all the games that Valve just showed off this week at their little VR conference. Really, really good-looking, polished stuff. I mean, this is not These aren't amateurs that looking up Unity tutorials on YouTube. These are people who know what they're doing, but just aren't part of a major publisher. So,
Yeah,
very
Half-Life 3R.
Yeah, Half-Life 3 is not coming.
Maybe that guy
Okay.
left because he finished it. Do you think about that?
No, because that's ridiculous. But yeah, a little bit of a short segment here, but do any of you guys have anything else to add? I think we actually covered it pretty well.
Power to the people.
That's right.
Hack the planet!
Kitty requires your allegiance.
Poor cat.
Fist bump.
All right.
Fist paw bump.
That's a great note to leave on. So if you need to find us, you can email us at gameoutloudpodcast@gmail.com, or you can always find us on Twitter at gameoutloudcast. So follow us on there. You can stream weekly episodes or download them on gameoutloudpodcast.com, and we're also on iTunes. So if you use us there, please remember to subscribe, rate, and review. That helps us out. And with that, we will see you next week. And looking forward to doing some more of this streaming thing with you guys once we've got a little more dialed in. So
Yeah, you'll be able to see what those two look like.
that's right.
And not just behold this beautiful visage.
That was Visage.
Visage, whatever.
Vice Age.
Visage. See you next week.
Bye.
All right. How do I stop this?